Welcome once again to the show. It's 7:30 and it's a Thursday, but it's not Crackerjack. But it's a show. It's a show. It's another show. It's going to be a good, fun show. There's lots of stuff in it. I've written things down to try and help me remember, because I do waffle sometimes. It's quite handy, really, when you're on a show by yourself, because if you don't waffle, there's no show. So there you go. Anyway, as ever, please feel free to join in the chat and let us know anything that you're thinking or anything that you think about as to what we do as we go through. That would be fantastic. But yeah, we're going to start off in a minute. We're going to get topical. Do you know what? It's just started raining. Again, as I walked out here to do the show, it started raining. It's been a lovely day today. Been out on site, one of the projects that's being built, and the sun was beaming in. It was amazing. Drove back from Thanet earlier. I've had a couple of meetings today, and the sun was dazzling. It's low in the sky. Obviously, it's winter, and in winter, the sun never kind of rises in the sky quite so much. But here we are once again, and like on Monday and Tuesday afternoons and Thursday evening, it's raining. And so I thought, but it's been a really busy week. It's been a bonkersly busy week, which is good, because with everything that's happening, we're getting everything set up for next year, and we'll give you a little bit more about that later. But it's been a really mad busy week. So I've got the Five Senses Part 2 walk video ready for later, and we'll obviously broadcast that. It'll be about 10 to 5 to 8. It's a slightly longer video this week than last week, but it's one of those, you know, I put it all together and I thought, oh, this is going to be bitty. This isn't going to be that amazing. And got it together, put some music in, did the levels up and down and all the rest of it, and played it back. And this is better than I thought it was going to be. So I don't want to overblow it, because obviously, you know, that could be a bit grim, but it's better than I thought it was going to be. So that's cool. So we've got that. We've got books. We're going to talk today about Carol Dweck's amazing book, Mindset, and we've got a copy set right here. So we're going to talk about that in a little while as well. But water and rain. Water and rain are amazing commodities, if you like. There is a real vibrancy and a real energy in rain, and I get a bit excitable sometimes. So what I'm going to do is, I've got two little videos. I'm going to play them back to back, one after the other. I have kind of dug them out of the ark a little bit. They were prepped before, and there's a kind of sales pitch at the end for the last 5-10 seconds. But the content's really cool, and I thought, well, let's dig those out, put those on, and we'll have a little bit of chat about rain afterwards. Okay, so bear with me. Here we go. Click the screen share button. The sound's on. Video optimization is on. So here we go. Thunder and water is the first one.
Never let you go.
Hello, Simon from Simple Life here. This is amazing. There's thunder and there's lightning and it's raining and it's hailing, and I love it. The atmosphere is electric. The whole world is alive. And it's amazing because I'm in my garden and I'm not getting wet. I love this. This is one of those things where you just have to go, I'm alive, and celebrate it. There is nothing like being outside in the rain and not getting wet. And do you know why I'm able to be outside when it's tipping down and it's thundering and it's lightning out here? It's because I have designed my garden to allow me to make the most of this amazing weather. This is just awesome. Fantastic gardens by design. What more could you ever possibly want? Amazing. Simon Pollard, call me. Oops.
Never let you go.
So, why is this the perfect pergola? Part 3. Well, it's because on evenings like this, when it's tipping down, when there's an awful lot of thunder about, and we've got the old-fashioned lightning, still sit in the garden and still feed off the energy that we get from the rain, and we can stay out here and we don't get wet. That is superb. Brilliant lifestyle ideas, as well as garden designs. Well, you know where to come.
Never let you go.
So, there you go. That was 2 videos. It's interesting. One was shot probably about 18 months ago, because that's the old pergola in the first one. And incidentally, the fact that I looked wet was because I had to get on the pergola to get out of the rain, you see. But once I was on the pergola, I was okay. And the second one was this year. Kind of come on a little bit with me video presenting, I think. But it's one of the things there is about the energy. That night in the summer or the spring, you can see the bluebells and the apple blossom, was particularly amazing. We actually sat out there. I think it was that night, might have been a slightly different night, and we had Ross and Megan, his girlfriend, were with us, and we actually sat there. We had a barbecue, and we watched the clouds rolling in from Whitfield. So we knew they were coming. We knew that they were on the way, and we knew we weren't going to have to go running in when they did arrive. And that's lovely because, as I mentioned in both those videos, and it's absolutely true, there's a real kind of energy in rain, in water, period. And if you just let yourself tap into that, it can be quite electric. But even if you're not aware of it, there's something going on. And the reason I say that is you'll have seen the videos of the pond. I think we had a video down by the pond last week. And that area where we now sit, there's been means of sitting and being there ever since I moved in. When I first moved into this place, there was a big, massive compost heap down by the Copper Beach. And it took almost a day, 4 of us a day, to actually bag it up and get shot of it, because there's only so much compost you can dig back in. And we took that out, and we actually put some decking and stuff down there, and we never used it. It just became a dumping ground. And it went through 2 or 3 evolutions and changes and whatever else, but we never, ever used it. And then I think it would probably be just over 3 years ago now, we decided to build the pond. Always wanted a pond, and I always had this idea of a split level pond with the kind of water cascading over one side from obviously the top kind of meditation pool to the bottom wildlife section. And so we put it in. We'd had a quiet time. The lads needed something to do. So we said, right, okay, we're going to build the pond and we're going to get it sorted out. We already had a pond liner sitting around so that if we had a moment, we were ready to rock and roll. Didn't take very long when you phoned Juicens or whatever to get sand and everything else arrived. So by the time the lads had actually dug it out, we had all the materials here and we put it in. The decking that's there now was the decking that was there and just decking. But when they say that decking we'd never ever sat on, so we recycled it. Part of the decking is actually over water. And there's a pond pump in, as we mentioned last week, in the bottom of the main pool, and it pumps water up, and you've got the sound of water when you're sat there. Now, I tell you, it's weird. You sat underneath the Copper Beach and you've got the sound of water, and you obviously got water and the life that's there. And somehow it makes an absolutely massive difference. We spend a lot of time sat down by the pond, even this time of year, because those 2 fences cut off the cold wind. So we're just dealing with cold. So it's really pretty amazing. So, but it's something to do with the water. There's no two ways about it. It's something to do with the water. There is an energy. And if you think about it, when it rains, obviously you don't want to get wet and you tend to go running off to get out or to get in. But if you can actually be in rain and not getting wet, it is pretty awesomely spectacular. You know, and when you go out, you first go out after we've had the rain, you know, when the air is clean and it's fresh and it's lovely. You know, it just washes all of the kind of aggro out of the sky. So yeah, rain. And we have had an awful lot of it this week. So I thought rain would be a good topic and gave me a chance to catch up with some other bits and pieces. But there you go. So I hope you enjoyed those two videos. And we're going to move on a little bit. Books. Now, this book, this is one of those books I had sitting on the shelf for ages. I learned about it or heard about it when I was doing the business course I did several years ago, because it's a bit of a classic, but it's talking about mindset. And if you're not sure exactly what mindset is, there are two, according to this book, we've got two basic mindsets. There's a growth mindset and there's a static mindset. And many people fall into, most of us fall into one or the other. And it's the way that you think and the way that you deal with things. So according to the book, I mean, I like to think I have a growth mindset. But there's one of the examples of the fixed mindset was, do you remember McEnroe, tennis player? Can't remember his first name at the minute. You can't be serious, fella. And he used to have his paddies and he used to have his tantrums because in his mindset, John McEnroe, that's the one. And in his mindset, he shouldn't ever be beaten. He is the best. He's brilliant. And if he didn't get what he thought he would get, he had a paddy. I think we've all met people, you know, who just assume that because they're well qualified, they know everything and they're better than people are. But we've all heard people go, it's just the way I am. It doesn't have to be the way you are. You know, there's times when, you know, things go wrong. People go out and get drunk. It's just the way I am. People eat too much food. It's just the way I am. People repeatedly lose jobs. It's just the way I am. And we've all done it. We've all been there. But you know what? There is a better way. There is a different way. And in the mindset book, it makes a really good case for learning from our mistakes. You'll have heard me say, probably, you'll have seen it in the movie. You know, remember that bit where Bruce Wayne in Batman, he falls down the kind of the well, and he discovers that at the bottom of it, it's actually solid, and he hurts himself, and his dad comes and picks him up, and he says, why do we fall down, Bruce? It's so that we can learn to pick ourselves back up again. And it's one of those. Things go wrong in our life, just occasionally. And if you're of a growth mindset, it's making the point quite clearly that you have to learn from it and you move on. If for whatever reason you can't do something, you say, you don't go, well, that's just the way I am. You say, what can I do to change this so that next time around it's much, much better? You know, this doesn't happen. You learn from what's happened and move on. You know, I mean, I refer back to him a lot, but my business coach, he got diagnosed as bipolar. He didn't get the doctor. He didn't get medication. He didn't get tablets. He said, what can I do to learn? I need to learn about this. I need to find a way to manage it. And he went out and he was quite extreme. He actually went out and got a degree in psychology. And he manages his mental illness welfare by having learnt about it, learnt from it. You know, it's like when you try and, maybe you've tried to build put a shelf up and you didn't do it very well and it fell down. Some of us go, oh, that's it, I'm rubbish at that. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm no good at putting up shelves and never put up another one. But the alternative is you say, but you know what did I do wrong? And it may be that you didn't drill the holes deep enough. So therefore, when you put the raw plug and the screw in, it wouldn't hold it up. It may be that you didn't have the right size raw plug or the right size drill. So you didn't drill the right size hole to put the right size raw plug in, and then you didn't have the right size screw. So when you put it all together, it wasn't secure and it fell down. But it's one of those, it goes wrong. So you learn how to put it right. And the next time when you put your shelf up, or later that day or whenever it is, it fits up there and it's perfect. And you go, well, that's brilliant. You sit back and you go, well, I couldn't do that this morning, but I can do that now. And I think that's and the whole book is based on that. It goes through various different scenarios with various different people. As I say, John McEnroe being the one that stood out because, you know, he had those tantrums because in his mind, it just wasn't, he was that good that nobody should be able to beat him. Which is quite cool. And I think it's a really kind of quite important thing for life. Just give me a moment here. I'm going to let the dog out because he's scratching relentlessly on the door. Oh, right. That's him sorted. So that was it. Carol Dweck mindset. It's really readable as well. It's because I think a lot of these books, if you need to reach the masses, they've got to be. I mean, I remember when I was doing my degree and my tutor there used to say, whatever you write should be readable by a 15-year-old school child. And when you think about it, you get to a certain level and that's actually hard because you like using those complicated words so you can be really precise. But that is a really important thing to do. So that's that one. Now, some news. It's been an amazing week. And I just want to mention the power of saying thank you. It was quite amazing. You know, you all have heard, I'm sure I've told you that we've got the go-ahead to do some walks and talks next year with English Heritage, which is fantastic. So I went back to see George, who gave me the contact to help set that up, to say thank you. Yeah, because I hadn't seen him for ages, so I popped up to see he's got the hub by Deal train station to say thank you. And he said, oh, there's another lady you need to talk to. I'm sure she'll help you out because there's an awful lot of grant funding and things out there for walking, for mental health, mental welfare, which obviously we're getting quite into now. And lo and behold, I had a chat with her on Monday and I got an email yesterday saying, yeah, we need to set up a proper meeting here with my boss because we really do think what you're doing here is important and brilliant. And we want to have a talk with you, see how we can help you set up some activities, give you some funding. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is cool. Had a message through from the people at Educational Life end of last week. They've been talking to the people at the lottery English, the lottery people. And they're really interested in what we do. That's exciting. Had a chat with a lady this morning who's part of Warrior Kind. It's another charitable organisation. And they've got various bits and pieces they can help us with. And the lady, Claire, who's at Educational Life, we're going to have a meeting there, which is going to help us set that one up. That's really exciting. I had a meeting with a fella this morning who has a CIC, a charitable limited company in Thanet called Happy Here. And he works with people who are struggling. And I think if we're absolutely honest, there are so many people who are undiagnosed but are suffering from a certain amount of anxiety, certainly stress. It's been a difficult time. And he wants to get involved or wants us to get involved with the five senses as well. That's really exciting. And if you remember from, I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago, I had a little promo clip from Walderslade Woods. And we got a notification come through this week that there's going to be a meeting in January, and we're going to go and have a chat with them and find out exactly what they want to do with the woodlands. They've got a large amount of funding, not quite sure how large, and I want to go and find out what they want to do, and whether or not, having had a look around it, we can actually do something really amazing to help people. There's one section of it which would be absolutely perfect if we could make it secure, so we can have school parties coming up. We can actually sort of like have a fence around it, so we can just leave belongings and stuff securely, and maybe in the summer even have sleep outs, wild sleep outs. I don't know about actual camping, but a place like that would be fantastic. It's such a good resource with so many different habitats and so much wildlife, and the infrastructure around it is actually superb. So that's really, really exciting. It's one of those. The world's just coming into line. You know, it's exciting to be able to help people. So that's really, really cool. I got to see the new website, or the latest progress of the new website, yesterday, and that looks amazing. There's some bits and pieces still to do and sort out. That will be going live in January, and it's been promised that it will be ready for that. So that's really in it. But you know what? We're not here for very long. And if we don't do everything we can to make this life as exciting as we possibly can, what are we doing? What are we doing? So, yeah, life is really, really exciting. Now, we have a decision to make. Those of us that are here today, we have a decision to make. Next Thursday is Dover Rotary's Christmas party. And those of you that don't know, my wife, I think everybody knows my wife, we will be going to Dover Rotary's Christmas party. In fact, looking at that list, I would say probably 3/4 of us will be there. So the question is, do we want to miss a week, or do we want to move the show to Wednesday next week? Don't all jump at once, but if you could put your preference into the chat, then we can go with that. There are a number of people who aren't here. We'll put it in the newsletter. But yeah, what do you reckon? No show next week, or Wednesday show next week? That's a Wednesday. Any more for any more? Graham, what do you reckon? Well, we're probably going to be going for the Wednesday then, which is the 15th, I think. Wednesday the 15th. Of course, that is an important one because... No, it isn't. Graham's out on the Wednesday. The week after is the 22nd. It's the 22nd. The Thursday is the 23rd. So possibly then, if Graham's out on the Wednesday, we'll give next week a miss, and we'll have the show on the 23rd. Yeah, that gives me more time to get something together anyway. So that's cool. We'll put that in the newsletter next week, and yeah, we'll do something on the 23rd, which is excellent. Okay, I'm glad we've got that one sorted out. So that brings us to part 2 of the Oxney Church walk. Brilliant, brilliant. Now, this is the bit between kind of almost getting up to the top of the cliffs where George got let loose and entering the woods. So I'm going to play it without any further whiffle, waffle, chittle, chattle, and all of that kind of stuff. Enjoy this video.
Never let you go.
One at a time, go and touch the bark. Go and put your hands on the bark. You can hug the tree if you wish to, but touching is all that is actually required. And then we'll have a little chat about pine bark in a moment.
Force us into the sea, and if they do that, A, it's going to be really embarrassing for us, and B, it will really hamper any chance of us returning. Now, Julius Caesar, like very many military leaders in history, was very, very savvy. He had the gift of empathy. He could see the world through other people's eyes. So after just 4 days, got back on his ships and they went back to Gaul, okay, to avoid a disaster. Of course,
electromagnetic fields that are in the ground. They're affected by the electromagnetic fields that are in our solar system, and we know that they're there. You know, you've all seen electromagnetism in school when you have iron filings and they drag things around. But if it's run by electricity, then electricity is controlling that attraction, which just maybe means that there's something in astrology, and there's something in the alignment of the planets that affects us, which is why some days we feel bloody miserable for nothing we can put our finger on and touch or know or understand. That's why some days we feel euphoric for no reason that we absolutely know or can understand. That's because we have this connection with the world, and it has a huge impact on how we think, how we behave, and how we respond. And our sense of touch should be one of those things that reminds us of that every minute we are alive. Because this is our world, this is our heritage, and we're a part of this.
now, Julius Caesar made several mistakes, but thankfully Julius Caesar was very, very smart, and he was aware that he'd made a few mistakes, and he went back to Gaul to avoid an absolute disaster.
Another one, whilst we're here and not thinking about it, we're 70% water. Yeah, 70% of our bodies is water. Now, we've got a moon that does an orbit every 28 days. And that has, you know, you've all heard the phrase lunatic. That's because some people feel an energy, they feel a pull, they feel a certain behaviour on those full moons. We know what the moon does to the sea, we see it with our tides. There's no way we don't have that connection, whether we acknowledge it or not.
Of course, we began the Battle of Britain because unlike Napoleon's attempted invasion, or of course Caesar's, by 1940 we had aeroplanes. Okay, so before crossing the channel, it was really important that the Germans attempted to seize control of the channel from the air. Of course, we fought the Battle of Britain. Thankfully, we won the Battle of Britain, and just point it out. The Battle of Britain began in July 1940, and thankfully on the 31st of October 1940, Hitler basically cancelled his plans to invade this country.
A chalk downland, if you like, and it's full of, I mean, you've got clovers in front of you, the purpley flowered plants. We've got ladies' bed straw, various dandelions, ragworts, cow parsley, but it still has to be managed because it will stay pretty cool as it is, but generally meadow is always cleared off in the autumn, and there'll be somebody from the National Trust will come and clear this later in the year because it needs to be cut down to regenerate for next year, a bit like the phoenix rising from the ashes, if you like. first we're going to think about smell, and this is it. So just take a moment whilst we're stood here and just think about what you're feeling, what your body's telling you, and then we're going to log on to that. So what are the things that we notice stood here?
Clearness, space,
It's quiet. What else can we feel?
breeze,
It's windy.
warm,
The sun's burning down on us. Okay. The air's also, and it'll be really apparent in a minute, the air's got a certain smell right here. The world's got a certain atmosphere.
Is it because it's dry?
Well, we can think about it more, but hang on to all of those feelings you have of the world as it is out here. Again, same question. How do you feel the world is in here? How would you describe this environment?
You can smell the sort of decay, you can smell the plants. It's a much more sort of warm sweetness.
It's a very, very different smell.
Dappled
Now,
lights.
compared to what we were saying outside, how else would you describe it?
yeah, it's moist.
It's moister, it's cooler,
It's enclosed.
it's very much more enclosed. There's very much less wind. Within the space of what, 5 to 10 metres, we're in a completely different world. If we stop to actually think about it. Because there are times when we take sense of smell completely for granted. In fact, the only time we even realise that we've got a sense of smell is when somebody farts. And then we all laugh, because there's something inbuilt in our psyche. It doesn't matter what you do, if it's a fart joke, people find it funny. But you know, it's not only that. It's the one sense of smell we can turn off, and we do it all the time. When somebody farts, the smell doesn't go away, it's your ability to smell it. You cut the sense off. It's the same when you put on perfume. You only ever smell it for a couple of minutes, tops, and then your nose cuts it off. And the only people who smell it are the people that you meet, because you've stopped smelling it.
Never let you go.
So there you go. That was the last, wasn't the last, that was the end of the second part of the video from Oxney Church. That was an awesome day. It really wasn't, and it seems ages ago. July, wasn't that far before we went, well, I went, me and Gillian went to Scotland. But yeah, that was pretty amazing. So we're now at 8:05. We're coming to a close. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Take some time to think about the rain and enjoy it and reflect on it, because it's always worth thinking about. Face it, just the fact that we have water on this planet, we couldn't exist if we didn't have water. You know, it is a gift, and we need to appreciate it and think of it as a gift. You know, the world has given us something that keeps us hydrated and clean, and also provides an awful lot of rest and relaxation and entertainment. We hope. A lot of us swim in water, go water skiing on water. We get in boats, we use it to travel around the world. You know, actually start thinking about it as a gift. And when it's tipping down the rain, it's still a gift. It's just in a different form, which is awesome. That's cool. Books, mindset. Just think about it. Anytime you think, oh, it's just me, I can't do any better than that. Yes, you can. If you want to have a read of the book, it's absolutely brilliant. Go and get it. It's on Amazon. It's not expensive. It says it's a 1 million copy bestseller. There's a reason for that. It's quite good. So check that one out. Obviously, Oxney Church is next on the 23rd. You're going to have to wait a whole fortnight for it, but we'll manage that one. We get the footage together for that. And if I'm managed to get some footage, I will do my best to get some footage of robins. We've got a little bit, but yeah, they're amazing little birds, and they're one of the few that are out there and they're actually singing still at the moment. So we'll have a little chat about robins. That'll be brilliant. And I might get some tinsel out, but probably not. But anyway, we'll have as festive a program before Christmas as we possibly can. I've got a feeling the Thursday the week after that might be tricky as well, but I will check with my social secretary on that one. And then we'll be into the new year, 2022. Did I tell you I'm a bit excited about 2022? Anyway, so that's it. Thank you very, very much for everybody being here. It's been absolutely fantastic. I'll see you in a fortnight if I don't see you before. Bye.